Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are live on a Tuesday night, as we are every Tuesday night, talking about either Star Wars, Marvel, sometimes Yellowstone. It feels like it's been a decade since we've talked about anything Yellowstone, but it technically hasn't been that long. I mean, if you count Bass Reeves as in the Yellowstone verse, it wasn't that long ago. But hopefully we will be getting Yellowstone later this year. We'll see what happens with all of that. I am excited about that. But tonight, of course, we were talking about Season 3 of The Bad Batch, Episode 9, and then X-Men 97, Episode 3. But before we dive into all of that, the tradition must continue, because what are we without tradition? We are nothing. So we must continue this tradition.
Sounded like a Catholic.
We'll start with Brian. How did you extra this week, my friend?
Well, Mrs. E convinced me for a date night adventure on Amazon Prime Video to watch the Tig Notaro comedy special. I would say I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. I enjoy her on Star Trek. I think her comedy style. I think she's told like 4 jokes the entire night. The entire hard 60-minute special. It was humorous. She had seen her live in Huntsville, and so she was getting a little more detail to the jokes than I was getting, just coming to it cold. But I enjoyed it. I'd say about a 6 out of 10. But that's how I extraed this week.
I have a quick Tig Notaro story. Here locally, she was on tour with a couple of other people. I can't remember who, and I was not really an intern, but just like friend of the show of a local radio show. So I tweeted at Tig and I was like, hey, would you want to be on this show to promote your comedy thing that you're doing at the Stardom, later? And so she came on the show and I got to meet her. I got to meet her and a couple of other comedians that were up and coming. She was the biggest name on the ticket, and she was with a couple other women who were touring with her. This was like 10 years ago, but it was cool. So yeah.
Super funny. I mean, she's super nice and very approachable. Whether how you view her comedy, I enjoyed it. It just wasn't as like laugh out loud funny as I expected it to be. So yeah,
she did a great job being CG replaced for a character on a Zack Snyder movie. So
there we go.
Yeah, so that was interesting. So
and
go ahead.
Her in is it Discovery or is Discovery?
Oh yeah, she's actually pretty good in Discovery. Yeah, she's not bad.
I enjoy her character in Discovery. It's very dry, which fits her perfectly. So,
she to me is like the female Stephen Wright. Like if you know that comedian Stephen Wright from back in the day, the one that said the joke about if a tree falls in the forest, he's the one that originated that joke. Do you hear it scream? He was the one that actually originated that joke. At least he was the first time I had heard that joke told during a comedy special back like in the 90s. All of a sudden you could watch comedy specials on Comedy Central constantly.
Does Garrison know who, or Jacob, do they know Stephen Wright? Have y'all?
Garrison has to know who Stephen Wright is. He's sort of got longer British hair. No. He's not British.
No, he's an American guy.
I'm surprised your dad hasn't told you about Stephen
Mumbles. Your dad will know.
Observational comedy.
Observational humor.
He did a lot of guest spots on 90s sitcoms. He was in Half Baked as the guy on the couch. I mean, he's been around now. He's been semi-retired for a while. He's not deceased, I don't think, but he's been out of the spotlight for a long time. I have not seen or heard of Stephen Wright in a long time. But Jacob, it has been. Go ahead, Garrison.
I was going to say his last role was the Emoji Movie, so maybe it's
He doesn't do much anymore. Well, he's got to be in his 70s by now. He's up in age.
Born in 1955.
Okay, all right,
yeah, close.
So Jacob, it's been a couple weeks since you have joined us here on Extra.
Welcome back, my son.
What you can pick anything to talk about as far. Do you remember the concept of the extra moment?
Yes, I do. I do. And really the reason I've been absent, I was absent last week, is I've just got too many Deucey movies to watch, and that's what I've been filling my time with. I've got 5 left. So I watched The Killer last night.
Okay. All right.
That was fine. Extraction 2 was fine. So many of these I'm like, well, that's a movie.
They're so mid. No, just
Dude, Extraction 2 had some of the best
It
action
was
sequences.
fine.
Awful.
Oh,
I submitted my ballot already, so
A Disturbance in the Force was good. I enjoyed watching that.
That
I've
was
enjoyed the
fun.
documentaries a
That's a lot
lot.
of fun.
I gotta see
Sly
that.
was very good.
yes, Sly was good.
Elemental was fine. Taylor
Oh.
Swift, that was a very long
This is a
experience.
long
Blackberry
extra.
was pretty
That was
good,
not
but
my fault. That
overall
was
fine.
David's fault that was nominated.
David made you guys watch the Swift show, the
Well,
Eras tour?
We have a
Yes.
voting body that some of them feel obligated to watch all the films on the voting body.
I'm not going to watch those.
Earl and
I'll just put all those at the bottom of my
just
list.
Some of the other voting body does not feel as if they have to watch everything.
I will punt it all the way down at the bottom so that
I
doesn't.
may be reaching out to a certain other voter to figure out how to watch Godzilla -1 because I still have to watch that. You Hurt My Feelings, Gran Turismo, still in the Iron Claw, or the 5 I have left.
Okay, so you're getting there. That's good. That's good.
I saw Gran Turismo. Oh, no. I saw
Gran Turismo's fun.
Yeah, good stuff.
It is a fun.
It's
Another,
long.
like-
The length is like over. I guess it's only over 2 hours.
Look,
2 hours 10. That's not too
yeah,
bad. I guess
come on.
2:15.
It's a true story. It's based on
The new Planet of the Apes movie coming out. It's like 225. So I mean, it's a chore.
It's an
Dr.
epic.
Earl, did you have time to extra this week?
I did extra some this week. Yes.
Oh, good. What'd you do?
Well, in the vein of comedy, as Uncle Brian was talking about, I watched the first half of the Steve Martin documentary.
Oh yeah, on Apple TV Plus.
On Apple TV Plus, and reminded myself of sort of that generation because I'm older. So like I remember being over at my friend's house and listening to the comedy album back like I don't know, circa 78 when I was 10 on vinyl, and it
in
hits
the record.
When you're that age. All those jokes, even though you can't see his frenetic sort of presentation, your mind, you're still like listening. You're like, oh my god, we were just like rolling on the bed. Because it is very silly what he did back in that generation.
Do you remember? I mean, and I know you're not like way older than myself, but do you remember the first time you watched SNL like live? Like it was an event that people were like wanting to watch SNL live.
Oh yeah. Well, my thing was like because you were younger, like Mr. Bill was funny to you, like this.
Yes, Mr. Bill.
No. So I remember begging my dad. My dad thought it was like this. Oh, this is a dirty show. This is not.
You shouldn't be
something
watching this.
Exactly. Oh no. He was very much like.
And he's still right to this day. You shouldn't be watching it.
Well, he's probably right.
Well, now especially, but in the 90s,
back then,
and the 80s,
70s, and the 80s, it was like.
Man. It was edgy comedy.
And I was like, no, it's good. And so we started watching. I just want to see Mr. Bill. And then of course they did something with some, sex.
And then Chevy Chase said, Jane, you ignorant slut.
My dad turned
he went, Jane, you ignorant slut.
Yeah. Jane, you ignorant slut.
So
anyway,
Earl,
I got sent to bed and I didn't get to watch it anymore.
Awesome.
Dr. Earl, did you have like a boomer like parent friends who would like play The Shadow Knows? Like we had like vinyl. Like I would go over to my friend's house.
Right. Like a record or something.
Like a record, like of the my friends' boomer parents would play The Shadow and like all these old timey like radio dramas for us. So that's how I
wow.
That's find all that on YouTube now,
Oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah, you can find all the old radio dramas on
but
YouTube.
we had a little.
Speaking of Steve Martin,
a
couple of weeks ago, the reason I missed that show when I joined on my phone at the very end, our church was going through something called a parish mission, where they pretty much just invited like a guest speaker, and the priest that they invited on, his name was Father Larry Richards. I would definitely recommend checking him out. He looked just like Steve Martin, maybe not just like, but then when he sang, he just did like the Steve Martin singing voice, and I was like, "What is happening right now?"
That's awesome.
He was very good, very good.
Yeah,
but,
a brother from another mother,
Steve Martin,
exactly.
Who's now a
resemblance
father
for sure.
Garrison, how did you extra this week? Yeah.
Well, I did finish the Deucey noms. You can see the
Letterboxd list is complete. Look at that.
But yeah,
100%.
I did 100% it. That happened earlier in the week. I'm not going to count that.
Okay.
I submitted my ballot. We've moved on. The Deuceys are over.
We've got a wrap-up show to do, Garrison. They're not over yet.
Yeah, I got to record.
Oh yeah,
that.
you guys have a reaction.
Put it to bed.
But they got to give me a winner to do that, right? So
That's true.
anyway.
That's true.
Oh
man,
I'm so ready to put.
I extred this week by recording an awesome episode of the Deucecast movie show,
Oh, that's right.
starring Dr. Earl and Jeremy Burgess.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We can't say what it's going to be tomorrow, right?
Does it come out tomorrow?
It comes out tomorrow morning.
I
Yeah.
said what it is, but
And I have no idea
Pretentiousness,
what
I'm
format
assuming.
it's going
Pretentious,
to.
pretentious movies. Yeah.
I don't think David has any time to edit the thing, so I don't know what is going to be on the file that he actually puts out there for the listening public. So it'll be fun. Look, I listened to the whole thing. It was fun. It was fun. I was glad.
He will find a way to insert something in there.
No, he said he doesn't have time.
Oh, okay. Well, he's going to dump and go.
Yeah. So
Michael.
my extra, I'm excited about this because I have not read this before. This is going to be a first time read for me. I just bought it today, so obviously I haven't had time to read it, but I am excited that I'm going to be reading The Death of Superman.
Oh, wow. Look at you, man.
I found it at Replay Toys that just opened close to my house, actually.
Yeah.
And even though they don't do like Replay Toys is a regional company, they've got lots of stores in the South, and they don't do comics, but they had some graphic novels. So he deeply discounted like 4 graphic novels that I picked up.
wow.
This is one of them. I bought the last.
Well, maybe
4
I need to go.
No, they don't have any left. I bought them.
Michael
out.
bought the store out.
They don't carry them. So this came out in '93, according to this particular graphic novel. So I'm excited to read that for the first time. I like this cover. The cover art's brutal. My camera's horrible, but
He's like
just bloodied with
Yep.
black.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. So I haven't read it before, so I'm excited to read it. I'm not a big comics book guy. In fact, we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. But
we are.
This week's episode was of X-Men was very comic book like to me.
Very.
But anyways, so that's how I'm going to extra. Maybe I'll finish it by the time we meet next week, and I can talk.
Or by the end of this episode, you just read it while we're talking.
Just read it while you guys
Yeah.
talking. Well, let's dive in to episode 9 of The Bad Batch. This is a big episode for a lot of reasons, obviously. This one was called The Harbinger.
Was it?
Well, it was for
I'm
a lot
kidding.
of fans of the Clone
Yes,
Wars.
I
Yeah, I mean, it's a big
understand.
deal for a lot of fans of the Clone Wars. Uncle Brian,
I don't mean to be
thoughts on the Harbinger. Do you have any background with the character that was brought back?
Yes. Well, so much so that like I didn't realize she was really like unalived, right? Like
Okay.
I didn't understand that Ventress was not supposed to be alive.
Well,
So
yeah.
really, it really wasn't a stretch for me to say, oh, Ventress. I remember her from the Dathomir episodes of the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
really
'cause she's
wasn't
a night witch. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a Night Witch of Dathomir, and it was kind of cool to see to connect the dot between her and Ahsoka and her experience with the witches of Dathomir in the far outreaches of the galaxy. So and then kind of bring those, Filoni does his thing where he brings those systems together. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of interesting dialogue that I want to dive into a little bit that was maybe not the way I thought about the Force, that some of the stuff that Ventress said. So we'll dive into it a little bit as we get deeper into the episode. But Roth, you haven't been here for a couple of weeks. How are you liking this series so far?
Yeah, it's good. I think let's see, what episode did I talk about last? I talked about Extraction, I think, didn't I, or did I not?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been 2 weeks.
I can't remember now. Has it been 2 weeks?
I think so.
So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I think last episode was all right. I think it was closer to the filler territory than we've gotten this season, but not nearly as filler as it was in the past. Fun to see Ming-Na win back. This show could only go 9 episodes without having a bad haircut character in it.
Right, yeah.
But
a new do
yes,
for her.
Yes, I Omega loses her bad hair and has like a good set of hair on her finally.
Yeah.
They're like, we
Yeah.
need somebody with bad hair back in the show. I enjoyed the episode. It's interesting. Dark Disciple was one of the few Star Wars books I read when Disney took over. When I was like, yeah, Star Wars is awesome. I'm going to read all this and the comics, and
everybody was gung-ho at first.
Yeah.
Then the Aftermath trilogy happened, and it changed a lot of hearts and minds. But no, Dark Disciple definitely. I mean, I think that sentiment. I think a lot of people would say that they read Dark Disciple just because there was that excitement. This like, oh, the EU is no more. We're starting fresh. All of this is canon. We want to try and keep up with everything.
And hey, this is unaired Clone Wars. Like was going to take place in the Clone Wars, and so like I remember some of the bigger points of that book, not any minute detail. I'm sure I have forgotten some of the other bigger stuff. I know she teams up with Surfer dude.
Quinlan Voss.
What's his Quinlan Voss? Yes, I was gonna say Ki-Adi-Mundi. I'm like, no, that's the big forehead dude.
Yeah, Quinlan Voss, who we have seen in an episode of Rebels, I believe. No, he was on something. He's been
in Clone Wars.
Was he not?
His name was on the wall.
His name was on the wall. His symbol was on the wall.
Wasn't in Kenobi. In Kenobi.
It wasn't like his name.
Yes.
Yeah, he's part of this underground pipeline of getting the the resistance.
Yeah. So like if they want to say that book takes place after this, I'm totally fine with that.
Well, I think there will be an explanation. I don't know if it'll be on a television show. In fact, they've said in interviews that there will be an explanation of why she's alive. They didn't guarantee.
So they're saying that this takes place after the book then.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they're basically, and that's why the line, she says towards the end of the episode, "I've lived enough life," or
I've got a few more lives left.
Got a few more lives left. So it's just a wink and a nod to the audience. Hey, we get it.
Well,
we
it's not out of the realm of possibility for the Dathomir witches to resurrect someone, right?
Well,
I mean that.
Sure, we're seeing.
And honestly,
that
let's be real here.
Yeah.
In the pecking order, hierarchical structure of what Lucasfilm cares about, live action, movies, live action, TV shows, live action, animation, books and comics way down at the bottom, and they don't care about it.
I'd say books than comics, so far down that but,
and that's how it should be too, because that's how your audience is going to be. That's the decreasing size of your audience there as well.
Will be on comics, and then it just goes up from there. It's like comics, books. I'd say tie-in articles in Star Wars Insider, or tie-in stories in Star Wars Insider, maybe below comics, and then and then books. But
and then whatever that YouTube Disney Kids thing they do is.
Hey, I'm a completist. I've watched every. No, I have not watched.
Or reading the back of a Power of the Force 2 card. That
DK books are like below.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Earl, thoughts about this episode in general?
Well, yeah. So I guess my first encounter with Asajj Ventress was way back in the Genndy Tartakovsky comics when there it is. Where Anakin basically beat the crap out of her and knocked her off a cliff.
Right.
When he went full dark side, and she was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on with you? You're all of a sudden like really strong," and he just like kills her. So
great series.
Yeah,
I love that.
Grievous gets his cough.
That's right. Yeah, that whole thing. I mean, Mace Windu is just a bad
mofo,
a bad mother. And I think I enjoyed this. I thought it was intriguing. I like that she brought a little mystery. I like that there was sort of like a lot of distrust by the other Clone War,
especially when they find out who she is.
And then there's the battle. There's that little fight they have. That's
meanwhile they stand a chance.
Come on, Betcha, let's go get the flower. And they're going up to the top, and then there's just like this major battle going on. So it did devolve into the monster of the week thing with the creature and the whale.
I love the creature though. That was a cool creature.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
it was so short though.
That part was short, thankfully. But anyway, I don't know if I want to dive into it too much. I want there to be blood tests for midichlorians. I don't want her to do like go stand on a rock with your foot up and don't fall over. I'm like,
Well, I mean, I think that's
no.
kind of the point that Asajj. Well, we'll get into it. Garrison.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get Garrison.
No, Garrison. High level thoughts of the episode in general. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my first encounter was also
Oh.
on the
Yeah.
show, which I have both DVDs for. Actually,
I've
they're my
never
dad's,
seen that
but-
DVD before. That's awesome.
In the
Brian, you need to see it. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen them, but I've never seen the physical copy. That's really cool.
in the collecting world, those would be called OOP.
out of print.
Out of print.
I've got them too, Garrison.
But they are
I've got 'em
streaming,
as
I think, now on Disney Plus.
They are, yeah,
That would
you
be the
can
way
watch
to
it on
probably
Disney
watch it.
Plus. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
As for this episode, probably my least favorite of the season. I don't know. Things just kind of felt like it grinded down to a halt, and we introduced Asajj, and I actually am not opposed to the Jedi training stuff. It just felt like nothing was really happening there. I mean, we were making no progress.
Yeah, it seemed a little.
She didn't really seem like she actually wanted to mentor Echo all that much, but not Echo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that she has it in her to be a teacher of a person.
Yeah,
that's why she said towards the end of the episode, if she is to go any further, she would have to leave the Bad Batch and go be trained. Not that she would want to do it, but she would have to go be trained.
I thought she was just confirming, not mentoring, like just to try to.
She was trying to confirm
to tell somebody. I don't know who she's going to go tell, but.
Well, no, I don't even think she cares about that necessarily. I think she was just trying to answer the question that she was posed as to, is my midichlorian count high enough where I could
do a blood sample? Come on,
be trained. Well, I mean, the blood sample is there.
The doctors from the Jedi Temple.
That's
to see how high her midichlorian count is. That like quite.
Well, we know that she has a high midichlorian count. I mean, the audience.
Yeah, we don't know how high it is. We just know that her clone, like if her clone is receptive to an M count.
We know it's high enough that the Emperor wants it to be able to make his strand cast.
Yes.
Yeah, and a couple of things that Asajj said. Having a high count, like you just mentioned, Jacob. Having a high count means that you're capable of wielding the Force, but training has to be a part of it. Your blood doesn't necessarily matter. That was one of the things that I found interesting.
It'd be nice for Ventress to tell that to a few of the storytellers telling Star Wars.
Right, because
right now.
Certainly in the prequel trilogy, that was the thing. Oh, his midichlorian count's so high, he's got to be the chosen one. I mean, that was the indicator, not the training aspect of it.
I disagree with that because I think they were like, yes, his M count's really high, but he's too old to start training.
He's too old.
So I think that was a big part of it too.
But then look how amazing he is at pod racing, right? It's like he has these overt abilities that we haven't. Well, I'm sorry, we have seen Omega have these little flashes of things that are inexplicable to
Certainly
me.
Highly trainable. She picks up things quickly.
Well, she perceives things quickly. And knows how to.
I mean, it's like I think the easiest way, like in my mind, to like do the M count stuff is like thinking about like athletics in our real world, and like if like a baseball player, especially, right? Because a baseball is a pretty fine-tuned sport. You have to learn how to throw the certain pitches. You have to learn how to have a swing and be able to pick up these pitches. And so, yeah, sometimes like you can get a guy that just has kind of a cannon of an arm, and you're like, wow, this guy's like he has something here. But to be able, like, if he's 18 and he plays his first baseball game, he's probably not going to be as good as like a mediocre player who's been playing since he was 6, right?
Yeah, and I even what I thought about on the other side, and I think there's a lot of real world parallels. Like I don't know, like a musician who can just learn music by hearing it rather than reading the notes. I mean, I think that some people are just born with the innate ability to be extremely skilled at something just in playing piano or something just by hearing the note or hearing somebody else do it.
Yeah, but they still gotta
They still gotta work
still
at
gotta
it, obviously.
know
They
the
still gotta train.
scales. And,
Yeah. They still gotta work at it, but they have this
They have to develop their talent.
virtuoso type, ability at a young age. We see that often.
Perfect pitch.
There's an innate ability and then the training season to perfect it.
So, I mean, the thing that I did love about the episode is that she kind of like didn't do great at these tests. I mean, she had to use Batcher to go get the flower at the top of the tree, which I was having this weird like deja vu moment as I was watching that. Like, didn't that happen in Karate Kid 2?
Never seen it.
Didn't Daniel have to go get?
I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
Didn't Daniel have to go to the top of a mountain and get a bonsai tree or something?
That did happen. I thought that was in the first one.
Was that in the first one? Okay, or something. Like,
it's been a very long time since I've seen the
climb
first
down
one.
a cliff or something.
Yeah, it was like exactly.
Oh, and it was like the guys show up. They're like, we're gonna. It was like they're almost going to kill the dude. Like
I was just having this weird deja vu moment, but apparently it is actually in a lot of. There's like maybe a Kurosawa movie that has that moment in there.
Wasn't there a Batman movie where
maybe there's a Batman movie? I don't
goes
know.
up to the mountain and he gets the flower and he brings it down.
Yeah, Nolan.
That's Dark Knight.
That's Batman Begins, right? Or is it Dark? Yeah, I think it's Batman Begins.
He has to go get the blue flower.
Yep. So it's a trope. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
But clever. I mean, it was
welcome, Rhett.
Yeah. Yes, Rhett. As always, there's a lot of people here to exactly.
We're talking
the
about
other thing that apparently
achieving or retrieving the Blue Lotus.
The fight sequence is apparently the exact fight sequence in the Bruce Lee movie.
Really?
Yeah, one of the Bruce Lee movies. It's
the fight sequence.
What fight sequence?
The Asajj when she's fighting.
Asajj and all three fighting all three of the Bad Batch.
Choreography is the exact from Enter the Dragon, I think.
Like shot for shot. I love that.
Shot for shot. Like
that's amazing. That's awesome.
From Enter the Dragon. And you can tell like some of the moments are very much like maybe you could think of Bruce Lee doing some of those things.
I thought it was a really good fight. I was like,
it was awesome. It was super awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she did the hand. Did she do the hand thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did the hand thing. She did like the flip over and like choke with her legs. I mean, there was all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
I wonder if that's because I just did a quick search of Bad Batch Bruce Lee. There's a guy that does the storyboards. His name is Justin Bruce Lee.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I promise you.
That's awesome.
Look up Justin Bruce Lee, Art Department, Tales of the Jedi, Bad Batch, Clone Wars.
Lee fan. No relation. He's just a big Bruce Lee fan. Like his parents were just This is.
Do we know this?
I didn't.
Isn't that line cut off? I mean,
he's
that
definitely
line doesn't exist anymore. Correct.
That line doesn't exist anymore. As far as
that's true. But he's definitely of Asian heritage.
That's okay.
From
but
his LinkedIn
his parents were just big Bruce Lee fans or something.
I guess.
Fun fact. This is one thing I could really contribute.
That name is really uncommon.
In Hong Kong. Hong Kong.
Yes.
When Bruce Lee died, a bunch of action stars changed their name to be like a different variation of Bruce Lee because they wanted to like step up and take his place.
Like Jet Li and
different
like literal Bruce Lee's but different spellings.
Yeah.
L-I and
Well, Jet Li.
I was super excited that they actually said midichlorian again instead of just this M count thing. Now, of course, they picked it right back up, but at least we had a character actually say midichlorian other than Qui-Gon. I mean, I think it's literally the first time that's happened since Qui-Gon saying midichlorian.
George probably cheered when he was watching it at home.
Yeah, he probably
did. He have the little?
I'm sure he's watching.
Did he have the little like razor blade thing, like the Gillette razor tester that they use? You know about that, right? The prop in the Phantom Menace is like a Gillette razor.
Yes. Their comlink is a.
Oh, it's just a Gillette razor.
I think his comlink is what he uses to send over the sample.
Oh,
and it's a Gillette razor. Come on, Michael.
By the way,
Star Wars, bro.
Can we talk about the fact that Qui-Gon did not get consent from the mother before he takes a blood sample? That's totally illegal. Yeah,
Come on,
there's
those
HIPAA
intergalactic
violations.
HIPAA
I don't
laws
think
are.
there's HIPAA
He was
on
like, Anakin, look over
Tatooine.
there. Ow. He just zaps him. And, ow, what are you doing? I'm drawing your blood.
Qui-Gon's like, this is just a slave boy. Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares about the
We do what we want.
Exactly.
We Jedi rule the world, rule the galaxy.
The Jedi rule the world. I personally loved this episode. I got a lot out of this episode. I like Asajj Ventress a lot because she has no allegiances. She is her own allegiance. So I like it.
Now, did I not get a DM at one point when you were watching this episode where you seemed upset with this episode?
I did, but the reason I was upset at first is because I thought that they were going down this line that Omega was going to be force sensitive. I was getting ticked.
I was thinking
I was getting ticked because that's the one thing I said I didn't want to happen.
Well,
and now,
how do we know that that's not going to happen still?
Because I don't think that Asajj has any reason to lie about it.
Before this series ends, Omega absolutely force pushes or pulls something.
No, I don't think so.
We have a wager now. Who's going to win, Jacob or
I'm back
Mikey?
on the. There's no reason for Asajj to lie to the Bad Batch about her force capabilities.
But what is okay? So, right, the reason why people hated the M count stuff so much is, oh well, I was under the impression that anybody could be a Jedi. You didn't have to go to a book to see how good of a Jedi this person would be. What lesson is this going to teach the kids if they're like, oh, Omega's M count isn't high enough, she can't use the Force at all? She's going to use the Force.
Well, no, I mean, the thing that Asajj was trying to impart when she was talking about M count and everything is that everybody has an M count, and training can help your force abilities if you get trained.
Yes, so, but what has Omega not kind of been practicing this? She was teaching Crosshair how to meditate. I feel like meditation is a very from the Wookiees who may be legends, but the Wookiees have some sort of innate force sensitivity, and their connection to Kashyyyk is
Wookiees. There's definitely force-wielding Wookiees. We know there are. There's one going to be in this Acolyte show. I mean, so we know that they're around.
One in the Clone Wars, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Gunji was in the Bad Batch too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's why we went to Kashyyyk.
Little Gunji.
But yeah, no, the meditation stuff, the training, she's definitely going to at some point in a key moment.
Meditation
Hunter is going to be like about to be crushed by something, and she's gonna force push it away or pull
this private personal conversation I was having with Garrison about the episode. I did follow up and say I think I'm back to being okay because I think
you did say something to that effect. Yeah.
Yes, they're going to.
But that's why I didn't expect you to say you loved the episode.
I do now. I do now because I'm okay. I think
what you're saying is Garrison just also violated HIPAA.
They never clarified.
Yes, exactly.
Don't trust me with anything. Yeah.
They never really clarified that she has the Force, right? They just said her M count was high, and like you said,
right,
that doesn't always equate. But I'm still probably leaning towards what Jacob is saying, that they're not doing all this.
I'm over here.
Plans.
I'm saying that she's not going to have a force sensitivity at all. I think that they're going a different way with it. I don't.
Oh, interesting.
I certainly don't want it to happen.
I don't want it to happen either.
That would ruin the character.
I agree with you. I'm kind of agreeing with that. Yeah,
I agree. I don't want it to happen, but
yeah. So also there are no Jedi to train her, right? There at this point, I don't believe there's just no.
I mean, there's some alive right now.
Quinlan.
Where
but alive. I mean, Ahsoka's alive. I mean,
it's like us as the audience do not want Omega to become evil or Sith, right? So we don't want her to go and that's to me that's the tension, right? Where if she were to go, it's like, oh my gosh, is she going to go with Asajj and go somewhere and go be trained to be this evil person when we think of Omega as good? So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nowhere for her to go with her as the character as a Jedi.
Right. I mean, to Rhett's point, I mean, we've mentioned Quinlan Vos a couple times.
Yep.
I mean, now that Asajj has been introduced into the series, I would assume that Quinlan Vos is probably going to show up at some point as well. I mean, because they're like a couple in that Dark Disciple, like they're in a relationship, if you will, in that Dark Disciple book. Yes, see that. But
So what would that do to the character of Omega for her to go with Asajj and Quinlan and just be their disciple? I mean, that would be crazy.
Be their dark disciple.
Right, that would be insanity.
I don't think
season 4.
I think that Asajj wants nothing to do with training anyone, anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't even think that's an option. That's not.
I agree.
Yeah. She can show force sensitivity and abilities without being trained, without becoming a Jedi or a Sith.
That's right. Mephisto. Yeah, I mean, now Quinlan has always been an edgy light side Jedi, though.
Is that the Ahmed Best character? Who's Quinlan?
No, Quinlan is like the surfer, almost
like bro.
He's got dreads. He's like surfer.
Oh,
isn't he a Dark Horse Comics creation?
No,
am I wrong?
he definitely shows up in episode 3 in the background at one point.
Yeah, I think
he may have showed up in a comic before that, but there's a point when Obi-Wan is walking
got Dark Horse comics that are like
out of somewhere, and then
he's in the background with NSYNC walks by also. So he's in that background scene when they never filmed anything. They were on set, but they never filmed anything.
They didn't make the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm almost with Roth on this, that I thought he was in the prequel
I know
trilogy.
he definitely shows up in.
Maybe, I don't know. Or there's a character that looks like him that we could say, hey,
this
maybe
guy.
that's
Okay.
Yeah.
I do remember him now.
But anyways, he's been in the Clone Wars episodes as well. I mean, he's
no, I'm sorry. It's episode 1.
Oh, episode 1.
First appearance was cover of Star Wars 19 in 1998.
Yes, so that's it's episode 1. He's sitting when Jar Jar flings the piece of meat.
Sorry, Rhett, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry. Actually, no, it's 2000. Okay.
When Jar Jar flings the piece of meat over towards Sebulba.
Yeah.
They retroactively
that looks exactly like him. I can share this picture.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's fine. I
don't
remember
know that he
all
was
that
a
too.
Character that was fully fleshed out, but in
that would be true. There would not
There's
be
a dude that looked like Quinlan Voss, just like just like Zuvio showed up for a millisecond in Force Awakens when we're running really quickly.
Everybody thought he was going to be a major character because he was. There he is. There
you go.
Dark. Like on my screen, this is a super dark picture.
But he's got the yellow.
There he is. That's
you're right.
You know?
Oh, he's even got the
like.
Okay. All right, I'm with you.
And then they created the character from this.
Okay.
They retconned it into the
yes.
I mean that's what they do in Star Wars. They take these background characters. This happened to be this guy.
Let me also say he is mostly a comics.
Yes, mostly comics and Clone Wars. A couple arcs in Clone Wars with Zero when Zero dies. He's in that arc.
Character. He's a canonized character. So
is Cal Kestis going to show up? That's the question.
Well, Cal Kestis should show up. And as
be
popular as those games are, he should show up. I mean,
exactly.
I don't know if he will, but anyways, I don't know. I thought that this was ended up being a good episode for me just because I'm on the side of believing every word that Asajj says, because she has no reason to just flat out lie to the Bad Batch about Omega's force abilities. I mean,
did you think for half a second like she was going to kidnap Omega and then like would have to chase her across the galaxy?
I don't think so, because she's an evolved character now. She's kind of changed beyond who she was. She's not working for anyone. I wouldn't even call her a mercenary anymore or an assassin. I mean, she's just out there doing her thing, just trying to stay out of the Empire's way. I mean, she had some foreboding things to say to the Bad Batch. She was trying to help them. She was like, get off this planet.
That was interesting.
I mean, this is not
some
where
bads
you want
about
to be.
Shakedown. Yeah,
she was like, it was super easy for me to find you, barely an inconvenience. You need to, get off this planet.
My dad's Star Wars shelf. There you go.
Oh yeah, your dad's Star Wars shelf. Nice.
2 shelves. Nice. And also, I love this. I gave this to him for Christmas one year. I'm sorry, but he
still
put this
hasn't
in
opened
his Star Wars shelf.
Nice.
Hidden Fortress.
Oh man, that's what Star Wars.
That's the Criterion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he watched it yet?
He's seen
Yes,
it. He's seen
Ruts, Terrell, Fode, Bede, all of them. They're all coming. No, but I don't
This is
know.
compelling stuff, Rhett.
I thought that there was, if you really listened to all the stuff Asajj was saying, there was some good meat in this episode. There was some good, stuff to chew the fat on. I mean, she's helping them out. I mean, she has no reason not to help them out. So
she also has no reason to help them.
She has no reason to help her.
But I think that she likes Omega. I think just in this encounter that she's had, there's several things that she says. She kind of actually likes Omega a little bit and wants to help these people out and wants them to not be entangled with the Empire. She appears to not want that for anybody. She's like, the Empire is way more powerful, because I think she knows about Darth Vader's existence.
Yes, and I also think that she is... I got the sense that she was much more... She wasn't just a mercenary, I don't think. I think she may be doing some mercenary type things, but I think she's also not full rebellion type of thing, but I think she is actively working against the Empire.
Yeah, she definitely wouldn't join the rebellion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's
working against it in her own way.
Because we know that with the Empire right now, or maybe by the time you get to episode 4, right, you don't have anybody but Darth Vader,
right?
Basically still practicing. I mean, I know that's probably not canon that they're all around somewhere, but because there's always we found another Sith.
Well, not Sith, but we found another Jedi. There's always Jedi floating around that they find. But
yeah,
I mean, as far as Sith is concerned, it was just the Emperor and Vader. I mean,
did Afra ever become a Jedi or a Sith?
I don't think so. She was just
Dr. Afra. You don't know who Dr. Afra is?
Yeah, I know.
He's about as much a doctor as Jill Biden is.
Look, to defend doctor teachers, the true definition of doctor is teacher. So Dr. Earl's Jill Biden's more of a doctor than Dr. Earl.
Hey, wait, I'm a teacher too. I do both.
You're both. You do both.
Yeah, so I am a doctor. You can call me Doctor. Give me the news.
And I know we need a spin-off series of Jack Black and Lizzo that have their own. How would you love to see those characters animated?
Captain Bombardier.
There's not. No, I'm not going to say it. I was say something about. There's not enough server space to animate. Lizzo,
would they
I'm
just
not
use
say that
a female female hut? Would they use a female hut as like the
no guys,
the animation
I
model?
I quit. Sorry, I'm being Lizzo.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not the first thing she's quit. How about like countless diets?
All of our audience. Let's just keep.
She's never quit a buffet.
The one person watching is Rhett, so who are we talking to here?
Well, that's true. He loves it.
She couldn't wait to quit.
All right. Any other final comments on this?
Yeah, we spent too long.
We're all being canceled because of this episode.
No, this is a good episode of Star Wars, guys. I mean, this was a really good episode.
We have spent a long time. Michael's usually like, okay, 20 minutes in, let's wrap this thing up. Let's wrap this.
Well, I'm excited about I'm excited that Asajj is back.
That's all you said. No.
I can't put that up.
No, do not. No.
Let me see. Let me look at my notes.
Let's talk about our other animated show.
Oh, I did want to say no. One thing: the underwater animation in this episode was freaking amazing.
That was just the animation of the water when they first
the underwater stuff, the lightsaber igniting underwater. Freaking top.
Yeah, when she was fighting
the episode when they showed like the little pond and ocean, like that looked like real water. Like that was impressive.
Yep, it's good stuff, man. It's all good.
And the weird creature. Apparently, I was watching some recaps where there's a creature similar to that creature, that Leviathan type. Beak eye guy. So really cool stuff.
Look, I don't mind monsters in Star Wars. There's always been monsters in Star Wars.
It was interesting to me that I thought the ending of this was going to be, oh my gosh, what's her name?
Asajj? Omega?
No. Omega. I thought Omega was going to be the one to. My brain kept saying Betcher, and I was like, nope, it's not Betcher.
Yeah, mine says Omega. So.
My thought that she was going to be the one to tell the whale to put Asajj down with, and her force sensitivity was going to be communicating with animals. But no,
This is good for me. No
learned.
horsepowers for Omega.
No, they've got to save that moment for the.
No, stop it, Jacob.
Yeah.
No
For the
horsepower
finale?
for Omega. No.
They got to
All
save
right,
it for
I
the
think
finale.
I think it's
to
a
save
bet.
Hunter.
I think between Mikey and Jacob. Hey, listening
Yeah.
audience, what do y'all think?
Yeah. Do you
Who's
think,
right,
yeah,
Mikey, or are you team Mikey or team Jacob?
are you team Omega being force sensitive or not? I mean, put it in the comments. I mean, I want to know if you're watching this back, what are your thoughts on Omega?
Yeah, put your comments in the
Team
whatever.
Force.
I think we outnumber you guys.
Yeah, 3-2.
I don't
right now.
know. I don't know. Now let's go. Let's switch. That was the harbinger. Oh, of note, tomorrow's or today's episode, as you weirdos like to say, even though it comes out at 2 a.m.,
It's
not
tomorrow.
midnight.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's episode is a two-parter. So that's be prepared.
For Bad
Two-parter of
So
Bad
clear
Batch.
clear your schedule.
Clear your schedule. It's going to be an epic extra next week. We're going to be talking about Bad Batch for at least 3 hours. Because
I'll leave work 20 minutes earlier than I normally do.
Oh,
next Tuesday.
Exactly. But let us jump in to X-Men 97, Fire Made Flesh. Boom! Background change.
Boom!
That means
get that technology.
Talk about. Maybe I should. This is not a great. You can't really see it, but it says X-Men 97.
I see it.
Anyways,
in my heart, I see it.
This in your heart, you feel it in your heart. This was the most comic booky thing that I have seen in quite some time. Thanks,
well,
Red.
That meant as an insult or a praise?
No, I like that they are going all in on it. Like, go for it. Like, if you're going to be a comic book show, go for it. And they are going for it in the best of ways. I mean, I freaking love it. Jacob, I'm going to go to you first, since I don't think that we've had you at all since we started X-Men 97. So the question that I asked all these guys at first, like, in general, what was your background with the X-Men, and then move into the show itself?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely never watched the original animated show in the 90s.
Because you were a child, a small baby.
Yeah, I was a child. I also what?
It's the best time to watch it. Jacob.
Yeah,
well, no, I mean, like a baby.
Accurate.
You were like 1 or something.
I was 2. Did it come out in 97? Is that why this is called 97? Or did it end in
97 right? Would have been the next season of it.
Okay. So I was -2 when the show started.
You were -2 when the show came out. Exactly.
Was it 90s? Well,
93 or something like that. Yeah.
And then like the X-Men movies that have came out, I don't think any of them are particularly good. I know people like them besides Logan.
What?
Like Logan's a good one.
What?
The other ones are just kind of average. I don't really care for the X-Men in all honesty.
X-Men and X2?
What is real question. What's your opinion on Days of Future Past?
I don't really like. I've seen them all. It's just something that like I watch them. I'm like, oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Tell us how you really feel.
Let's see.
I've seen Andrew was -13.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
On Letterboxd, I have X2 as
like
3 stars.
X13.
Days of Future Past, I have as 4 stars. I don't know.
Okay, so you're
okay. So you like at the time when you watched them,
Days of Future Past is pretty good.
That's probably my favorite X-Men film at this point.
But they don't stick with me. Like I kind of remember some big stuff, but like I don't connect with the characters all that much. Like I think Wolverine's a cool character. Patrick Stewart was pretty good. I liked Ian McKellen. Like I don't know. I'm just not the biggest X-Men guy. I've never read a Marvel comic, so.
You're right, and I'm the same way. As I alluded to with the Superman thing, I'm not a comics guy, but I do like the characters from the films, and I liked the cartoon a lot because I did watch the cartoon.
Yeah,
that was my first intro into it. Was probably the cartoon, obviously, because that was 92, and then the movies, but never really. Still not many of the comics. I have read some X-Men comics since then, but I read the Civil War stuff, and so I've got some background there. But
I would say that I'll try to watch them before, like a few of the movies beforehand, but not the show, but something like rewatch X-Men, X2, Days of Future Past. But I've got too many Deucey movies to watch in between.
So Jacob, let me ask you this then. So I didn't get to ask you this a couple weeks ago. so when you're introduced to these characters like Cyclops or Rogue or Gambit or you know, are you having to remember, oh, this guy has this ability, or this is the relationship between these two people? What do you think?
I would say most of my X-Men knowledge I've gotten from listening to Steve Glosson.
Boom. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Like that's where most of it comes from, and I'm like, okay, like I'm kind of familiar with that.
Yeah.
Like some of the like drama stuff that happens in this episode, I'm like, I don't really know where all these characters are coming from, but I get the point of it.
Yeah.
So like, I think this is like, I'm enjoying it for sure. It's not like, I think I probably like Bad Batch a bit more because I am more familiar with all that universe, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot.
Gosh, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, if you just drop it in the middle,
like a ton,
a lot of soap opera stuff going, all different.
Yeah, but that's X-Men.
That is X-Men.
That is X-Men. And what I like about the show is that it's not trying to pander to the audience at all and do like this whole exposition of
or Jacob,
who the heck the Goblin Queen is. Like they're just going to throw the Goblin Queen in there, and if you don't know who it is,
too.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's how I prefer it as well. Because I don't even really.
Spoiler alerts, by the way.
I don't know much about Mr. Sinister and the Goblin Queen and all of that. That's not
surprisingly we don't either.
Does Mr. Sinister have anything to do with like the Sinister Six and Spider-Man?
No.
Okay.
No.
Nothing. It's
not that I'm aware of.
He's just like this. Was he a Russian scientist or something originally? I think.
From the 1800s, they
I don't even know. I would have to go back. They probably, because he's in the previous series, right? Don't they do? Is he not?
I don't know.
Barely.
I don't know either.
He really isn't that much. I mean,
did they have
season, he comes around in the last season of the previous series.
Let me ask this clarifying question: how did Professor X die?
Oh, him and Gyrick supposedly shot him, right?
Actually, they show you that at the beginning of the show that Gyrick shoots him basically with whatever he shoots him with.
He's a government, an anti-mutant government
dude.
guy.
That's the guy they go to in prison in that first episode, and they start interrogating him, and Jean Grey uses her psychic abilities to attack his mind.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
That was the other thing that, man, I had to catch up with real quick is understanding, okay, wait a minute. So the real Jean did not have Nathan, did not birth Nathan.
Yeah, no.
It was the clone Jean that birthed Nathan.
But now she's got the memory of birthing Nathan.
Even though she's got the memory of birthing Nathan, which is wild. But, I mean, so there's a lot of craziness going on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also the idea that Professor X is dead, right? Which is...
Still, we're still in that.
Well, at the end of the show, he went off with the Shi'ar and was kind of leaving them in charge, but we didn't know if he was dying.
Alien,
right? Yeah. And so, to the movie watcher, he's so integral to the whole to the whole thing of the X-Men. It's his school. They're his pupils, and he's mentoring them on how to integrate into society as being a mutant with the non-mutants. So it's like, and this whole thing between him and Magneto. So it's like when he's not in this cartoon, I think there's a weird disconnect.
Well, but if you go back to and Jacob, this is going to get a little nerdy. The original series from the 60s, until they decided to make a whole switch, he also kind of disappeared, and they thought he was dead. And because that's when I started reading, and they just kept talking about man, we just really feel like you're saying the vacuum of him not being there. But I think it did help sort of Cyclops step up to be the leader. I mean, this was all Chris Claremont's arc, I guess, was to sort of remove the mentor and make it more about the young people. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that. I think, but you're right. If you watch the movie all the time, you're like, oh, I need Professor X there.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost no X-Men films without Professor X.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Even Logan has a crippled old.
A major plot point in that movie is the fact that Professor X is around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of craziness going on with this Mr. Sinister stuff.
I think, the horror aspect of this was unique. I thought some of the art was, I was like, oh my goodness.
Like, yeah, you wouldn't want
like
a kid to watch
Miyazaki
this.
level type
Yeah,
weirdness,
it was good.
I
I appreciated it. I appreciated that they weren't holding back in that stuff.
I mean, that's not my favorite type thing to do with X-Men, to do horror, but I mean, it was different.
It worked for what?
Yeah, and it's one episode, so it's not like it's
Yeah. Now, a character that they definitely introduced in '97 that wasn't really much in the original was Bishop. So Bishop's kind of like new to the team.
He's newer.
So this whole plot point of Beast fixing the time bracelet so he can go, into the future, I guess.
Took the baby into the future, right?
He took the baby into the future.
Or am I right about that?
Yeah, no, you're
He
right.
did.
Yeah,
He did.
he did.
Because we don't
He's
have the
gonna
medicine.
come back. We're gonna see him again.
You guys know who the son is, correct?
No.
No.
Who?
Well,
that's
let's not.
Are they going to reveal that? You think right now? It feels like a long-term thing they're saying.
I think it's probably
episode.
more.
No. Who is it?
Yeah, just tell us. Who
It's
cares?
Cable.
Okay.
Cable comes back from the future, and
so Nathan is Cable. Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
that's a very like Terminator 2
because he's
send
like
him
part
back.
machine, part man, right? He's got the inbuilt, which is kind of neat. I do wish they had played out some of this. Was so fast, like everything was just happening, and I would have preferred like a slow burn about like with
They don't have
what
time.
are we doing? Okay.
I thought the first
They're
two
good,
episodes were paced a little bit better than this one.
Right. This one was pretty
but-
frantic.
This was
Yeah.
stuffed, yeah.
But also, I think it kind of did the frantic pace on purpose, just because of all the things that they were trying to do in this episode. And
Yes.
Well, I mean, what was
I
strange
just
to
think they
me.
could have done this across the whole season a little bit.
Well, yeah, but they've only
Just
what?
for
It's
being
only
in the
10
background.
episode season, or is it even less
Yeah,
than
ten
that?
episodes.
Yeah, but what else are you gonna? I mean, have Sinister always popping up in Jean's head?
What?
I don't know.
We'll see.
Dude, like Invincible has ruined me because they'll play the long game with a story.
Well, that's the
then
comic. I
boom.
mean that is
love it.
Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That X-Men used to be that way too.
Yeah, no, but
I'm talking about the comics though.
right, the comics have a long. They can go for many issues to do this type of stuff. This is an animated series. You got to move quick. You've got to. I mean, I was intrigued that Roberto stayed around because at the end of the last episode, well, at the end of the last episode, it was as if, oh no, this show is not on my list, and I'm not going to watch it. So I don't.
You're not going to watch Three Body Problem? Come on now.
Michael,
Absolutely not.
Michael, it's
Not
what
gonna
everyone's
watch-
going to be talking
Not
about.
going to watch 1 second of that garbage. Just
Michael,
not gonna
Why?
waste my time.
next week is
Garbage.
going to be
Not interested
Deucecast
at all.
Extra Three Body Problem review. Come on now.
Not
Did
interested
you know
at
that?
all.
Did you know we're going to do that?
Why is it garbage?
I'm not interested in all. I just don't care. I don't know.
He only watches the Chinese.
Hey, they're not good enough for Lucasfilm. They're not good
Yeah.
enough for me.
I bought all the
ready to-
books, so
Did you buy them all?
yeah, I bought all the books.
Yeah, I'm just. That's not my kind of sci-fi. I'm just not.
Look, don't
interested.
let Rhett derail the show. We're talking about X-Men here.
Oh, Liam Cunningham's in it.
Oh yeah, all
Also-
those Benioff and
Jonathan
Weiss
Pryce?
people are in it. Yeah, they got all the Benioff and Weiss people.
It's a
Oh,
lot of
this is
Game of
Benioff
Thrones.
and Weiss. Oh,
Yeah.
I might
On
watch this. Let's
Peacock.
do this on the extra next week.
If they're not good enough, hey, if they're not good enough for Kathleen Kennedy, they're not good enough for me. I don't care.
guys, real quick. Peacock has the Chinese season 1
Yep.
of the
Oh,
show.
really?
Yeah.
Well, Prime does too. Yeah. Oh, is it?
Okay.
Maybe it moved to Peacock.
I'm
Okay.
thinking that we
Might have.
probably shouldn't support that version. If you look up the details of everything that has happened to this poor guy, but yeah.
I'll send the balloon over
Right,
your house.
exactly. That's right. That's right.
Wow. That's disturbing. So what do we? So I guess go ahead, Brian.
I was
Bring
going
us
to say,
back. Bring us back to X-Men.
for if anything, Rhett should watch the reveal of the Goblin Queen Madeline Pryor animation because it is gorgeous.
Yeah, look,
Yeah,
it's
that was
good
cool.
animation
That was
to me.
really cool.
I mean,
It
it's
was
really good animation. It's
Yeah.
but Brett's not a guy that likes animation, so you're barking up the wrong tree with that.
Well,
He's not going to watch this.
Don't
I
even
know-
try to. He won't.
I
watch
know
it.
he
Red
saw
thinks
Just
it's
like
a genre,
Red-
not a medium.
Just like Rhett inexplicably refuses to watch any animated Star Wars, I don't want to watch his stupid 3 Body Problems show. So
It reminded me of Heavy Metal of the original like 19.
Oh, it did. Yeah, the way
yeah,
she was
very
spinning
much.
around and the green swirling
I was
around
like-
her. That
I
was
was like,
really
I
good.
felt like I was 11 again. It was great.
Isn't that like rotoscoping in heavy metal?
Yeah, some.
Yeah, it looks like Star Wars Resistance a little bit.
Are you talking about that silver-haired?
Yes,
Well, anyway,
yes,
we
Rhett. Or Earl, sorry.
Yeah, we won't go into that.
Geez, Nimona. Good grief, Rhett.
So I think
Nimona stunk.
Nimona is hot garbage indoctrination crap that my kids will not be watching.
I liked how Jean Grey had her Marvel Girl outfit, and one point, like her box fell over, and
it had a hole in it.
Marvel
right?
Girl, yeah.
Didn't it have like a laser had gone through it, right?
Oh, I thought it fell over when she was all her pictures. Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because they were.
No, I'm thinking of what's her name.
This show has something against like photographs of old X-Men teams because it keeps knocking them off the wall and every episode. Hey, look, but we got to see Morph turn into some interesting characters. He became
all the different characters. I don't know all the different characters that he was becoming, but it apparently was a lot of pretty cool characters.
At one point.
I did see Magic. I recognized that character because of that
Nimona,
awesome movie that Magic was in called New Mutants.
Yes. Which if anyone was going to come back from that movie, which is a terrible movie, Anya Taylor-Joy can come back.
She did great in that, actually.
And that character is super popular for a lot of X-Men fans. Magic is a very popular character.
I love the New Mutants comics back in the day.
Yeah.
Who's the southern chick in this?
Rogue.
Rogue.
I'm not a fan of that voice. Not a fan of that voice.
Hey, baby. Well, yeah, no. She
actually
that woman's
the original voice actress for that one from the '90s cartoon, but she's really old now. So
yeah, she's like,
yeah, I could do without that voice.
She's age appropriate for Magneto, the voice actress.
In real life, yeah.
Yeah, in real life.
Garrison's getting a snack here. What are you doing, buddy?
I do like
I'm getting dizzy.
Swole Magneto is pretty awesome because he definitely was not depicted that way in any of the films. Even when Fassbender was him, I wouldn't say that Fassbender was like portraying a swole Magneto like he is in the cartoon. He's like ripped. He looks like the Rock, basically. Scott,
are you riding the bike?
Yeah, he's got to get his work in.
Garrison.
I'm sick of looking at my fat chin on this thing. I'm like,
that's why you just get a mic that covers it, like I do.
Yeah,
just hide your chin behind it.
Yeah.
Oh well, you just learned a
Can I
little
say
bit.
I really enjoy watching Cyclops in this show. He's my
Cyclops
favorite part of this show so far. I think they're actually doing him justice for once in a adaptation.
I will say that this episode he went back into some of the Cyclops tropes of being sort of a weak, not confident about himself.
I don't agree that he was
not confident.
He's very emotive. He's very emotive.
I don't think he was weak. He was put in a really tough position where his wife was revealed to not be his wife. And also they had a kid with the not wife.
Right.
And you see Scott was also abandoned by his father. So that's why he was saying, I will not be part of this. I will not abandon you.
Well, by him being not part of it, he's abandoning him.
Did you guys notice little young Jean Grey and her Cyclops stuffy that she had? I thought that was cool.
I didn't see that.
I didn't.
Yeah,
oh no, I forgot to see that.
The one-eyed, the mythological version of Cyclops. Yeah,
that's awesome. No, I didn't notice that. Like when Professor X, and I like what he said.
Did the flashback scene? Yeah.
Because what did she say? She said, "I can't."
My parents say I think too much.
And he goes, I think too much too.
Yes, exactly.
Garrison must have just read.
Don't pay attention to the chat.
Don't read chat.
For the love of God, don't pay attention to the chat.
But it is
so the Goblin Queen. What is that character's real name?
Madeline Pryor.
Madeline Pryor. Okay, so what's the deal? What's the deal with Madeline Pryor?
Okay,
the clone of Jean Grey.
So originally, Madeline Pryor was and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Brian, but in the whole Dark Phoenix saga in the comics, there was a character called Mastermind who convinced her, because she kept flipping back to this like 18th century time frame of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
And she began to think she was this character called Madeline Pryor. And then the Hellfire Club and Mastermind convinced her that she was like this sort of I don't know, Dark Queen or something. But then that unlocked her to become the Dark Phoenix in a way. But there's some whole other story. This whole clone thing is part of like the 80s, 90s version of X-Men. And so that's why they're going to this level. So they made Madeline Pryor a separate character that apparently Mr. Sinister used her DNA to create a clone. And now I'm assuming this story is pretty comics accurate. That's what I've read on a couple of.
Oh yeah, no, it very much is. Yeah,
I'm hoping that, like with like you said, the frenetic pace of this episode, are they going to just like, hey, we're going to forget about this for 2 episodes and then come back in 3 episodes from now and then resolve any of these issues?
Well, if you look ahead, you kind of know that they're doing it like old school style, where so the next episode's a part 1, and then they skip part 2 because they put another episode in. So then part 2 is coming later. So that's kind of the way that they did the old animated series. Like you'd get a part 1, and then a couple episodes later, after you'd watched a couple things, part 2 would come. I mean, and so it's So I think we'll slow it down a little bit, probably.
So even though Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey agree to depart and like, so they may come back
which
together.
Which is for the best, really.
It seemed very final, very just. It seemed very
well.
Like
Sinister's
they were trying to
still around, obviously, so he's still going to be trying to probably get the clone to do his bidding. So he's probably going to come around. Yeah,
I like the way they showed that though. Visually, the connection to him was broken.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's got to try and figure out a way to get her back, I'm sure, because he's not. He doesn't want to be done with Nathan too. I mean, his whole plan involves that kid. So I'm sure he's. I don't think
the connection's broken, right?
He's the villain through the whole season, I think.
So do you think we're getting Cable at some point in these?
Maybe next season. I don't know that we'll get him this. Yeah,
I mean,
who knows?
I would love it if they waited till next season, but I'm just not sure they have the patience for that.
I think it's so funny that they've got Bishop taking Cable back, where they feel like such similar characters. I mean, both time travelers from the future.
They're both very similar. Yes.
Now Cable can't take power from like Scott. Like
no, and that's different. Yeah,
that's very different. That was a cool scene too when they were in like this imaginary Dante's
Inferno. Tell each other, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they thought they were going into hell or something, and he's like,
"Yeah." The really emotional scene between Logan and Jean when she's looking into Logan's mind, and she is like, "Oh, I didn't know you felt that much about me," and he's like, "Yes." But then immediately she starts fretting about Scott.
Oh no, I've got to go check on Scott.
Yeah. Oh, Scott, wait.
Just like I expected, that geek always gets the girl, and
But it's cool that they're able to show the vulnerability. The vulnerability of Logan in that scene was cool to me. I mean, this is freaking cartoon, and they're able to show that kind of stuff in it. So I like that.
In the comics, eventually, he eventually fell in love with Mariko or whatever from the Japanese.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
No, that happened in the movie too.
I mean, that was the movie, right?
Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
You're talking about the Frank Miller miniseries, right?
Yeah, but it happened in the comics too. Like it happened back in.
Yeah, well, that's the Frank Miller miniseries, the comic.
Yeah. Well, no, I know, but I mean, even before that, they went to because Sunspot or Sunfire, there was some other character that was in Japan. And so they went there for something. I don't remember why. There was some reason they were there, and he met her. And so the seeds were planted back in the Byrne Claremont series.
Okay.
Because he was trying to get over Jean. He was like, I got to get over her. And
I like your Logan.
He's smoking a lot of cigars. And,
was it Miller or was it Byrne that did the Wolverine?
No, it was Miller. It was Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So the way the episode ends, Ford shows up, and
with
like, hey
Storm.
Hey Storm, I want to help you. Find a way.
Yeah, that was really cool because we don't want to leave that thread untangled.
No,
right?
I don't. Yeah. No, Storm's a major character.
You got to get.
What was his name?
Forge. So
no, I don't know him that well.
He's like a tech wizard sort of guy.
He's friends with Charles. He's like Charles's friend or whatever. So
Thanks, Mikey.
What?
That's what he says. That's his line. In the show.
Oh, I'm a tech wizard, baby.
No, he doesn't say that. He said
that I'm friends with Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
That's
Michael's acting.
So
It'd
Now,
be
Billy
nice
Dee Williams
if it
could do
could
him,
rain
apparently.
around here, isn't it, Storm?
I think actually they have a little relationship in the comics, but I never read that part. So sorry, spoiler alert.
Uh-oh.
That's the theory. That's the rumor.
I'm loving the show. I think it's a great show. I just like it because it is so different than like Bad Batch. You're watching two very different styles of animated
and
shows.
Invincible too is very different from all the others.
Well, yes, I would say so. That Invincible is very different than both.
I
of
still
these
haven't
shows.
watched season 2.
Read the Invincible comic.
No, I don't read.
I've got
Read
this
it.
to read.
It's brilliant.
I've got this to read. I got to read this first, and then maybe I'll
get the omnibus 1 and 2.
Yeah, 3.
There's 3
Oh,
of
there's
them.
3 omnibuses of. Okay, good gracious.
That's compendiums, but I have them.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. I think we'll be.
We're
we'll
all
definitely
tired
be back.
of hearing Garrison's heavy breathing, so I guess
It's making me tired just thinking about being on a bike like that. But we'll definitely be back next week, of course, for episode 10 and 11 of the Bad Batch, and then episode.
Do you know who
4,
voiced Forge?
Who?
No.
One of Michael's favorite guys.
Dan Stevens.
Think Yellowstone.
Oh, that dude, Lamont?
No, Gil Birmingham.
Oh, Gil Birmingham.
Really?
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I was going a different way with that. I
that's
didn't
really
realize he was a
cool.
Native American character. Okay, that's cool. Gil Birmingham. I do love that. Man, Gil Birmingham looked rough in season 3. Like, I was afraid that dude was
He's on some
ill.
steroids or something.
Or I don't know. His eyes were bugged out. And like I was like, is
he's
this guy
taking some
dying on
medicine.
set?
Yeah.
It's not good. Not good. But hopefully.
Hey, so there's 2 episodes of both of these shows next week?
No.
Oh.
No, just episode 4 of X-Men, and then episode 10 and 11 of Batman.
I don't know if I can handle a double shot of the Deucecast Extra. I'm just saying.
Double shot. Be a lot of Garrison on his bike.
Hell yeah.
Right. It's like
Ride him, cowboy.
Swole Garrison. So,
he'll look like Magneto by the end of the show.
I should just start going to a gym and like doing the Deucecast Extra from the
During the
gym.
Deuce-
That's how you get the chicks, man.
Get on your elliptical. You're on your elliptical. Ugh. I got these muscles.
Well, Brian, like Dr. Earl, is off the grid except for the Deucecast Discord, which we lovingly call the Deuceboard. If you are watching this show later on or viewing this live, perhaps, and you're interested in a link to our Discord, just DM us on either X or Facebook at the Deucecast, and I can send you a link if I figure out you're a listener or whatever. Jacob, where can you be found on the interweb, and what is coming up for a good day for a movie podcast?
Roth from Wyoming on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. Garrison's stripping now. That's exciting.
What's happening? Okay.
Okay, easy.
You don't want anybody to lust. It's okay, Jared.
Tubin.
This is a live show.
Careful there, Tubin. Good day for a movie podcast. If you're a Willie Nelson fan, this latest episode, Redheaded Stranger.
I want to watch that movie so bad now.
It was pretty good. It's on Peacock.
Yeah,
not bad. Not bad at all.
His name is Earl, Redheaded Stranger.
Yes, I am the redheaded stranger. In most people's lives.
Dead Poet Society is next. We were actually recording
last
night.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Yes.
I may actually listen to that episode.
And then I need to do a little work on our next special guest. I've been bad and I have not messaged him, but it's our Oscar winner that we would like to have on.
Oh, I know who that was. I don't even think he knows who that was. Dr. Earl, you
I
won.
I did tell him.
You did. You heard that you won the Deucecast or the Good Day for a Movie Oscar.
I
contest.
did.
You
Yes.
did. You won by 1.
You won by 1,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
so you get to be a guest and choose the movie.
Man. I get to choose a movie. Okay.
What
Yeah,
movie
so
shall
I'll get
Earl
with
choose?
you on dates for next week.
Oh,
But
I would love to hear Sage's take on Tree of Life, but I don't know.
Oh,
If,
Oh,
we've
no.
already
Sage
done
would
that
never
one. We
watch
already
it.
did Tree of Life.
Oh yeah,
I know
Wait.
you did.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Sage
To
would
the
never-
wonder. No, I'm just kidding.
To the wonder. Oh gosh.
Watership
Sage
down.
refuses to watch anything that's over 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll get him a good movie.
Yeah.
Hey, I've seen that one.
That's
Hey, Duck
that's a
Soup's
good
not a
film.
bad choice, actually.
Yeah.
It's got to be a tight 90 though. I mean, Sage
Hey.
is not going to.
I'm sure Duck Soup is short.
It is.
Sherlock Jr.
Sure.
10 out of 10. It's 45 minutes. Buster Keaton busting his butt all over the place.
I was the winner, and I get to choose.
You get to choose. You get to come up with
I
it. That's
think,
I'm excited about that.
Slapshot is a good choice too that you've thrown out
I'm thinking
there.
about Slapshot for you guys.
Oh,
Maybe so.
okay.
Maybe so.
Talk about Slapshot.
Earl, more people need to know the story of Friends Jagenstauer.
Oh man, that's a
That's
long
not-
movie.
You know what? Sage might like that movie though.
He would.
That,
He might.
Good
that-
film.
that feels like a movie Sage.
A Hidden
might like.
Life. Yeah.
A Hidden Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like one Sage might like.
Murder Town.
Anyways, well, cool.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Jacob. We look forward to hearing the next episode on Dead
Hey,
Poet Society.
Jacob, have
Great
those guys?
Great film. Great
Well,
film.
we'll talk offline.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. Garrison, where would you like to be found
Besides the bike.
besides the bike?
All right, let's kick this up a notch. You can find me on Twitter at GRyfun3, GRYFUN3, on Instagram as well at GRyfun3, on Letterboxd at GRyfun, GRYFUN. Oh, I'm losing my footing. And that's about it.
What is happening?
Oh, so the Deucecast movie show tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, tomorrow.
Top
yeah.
5
that's all-
pretentious films.
Oh, he just.
I
broke- he
emailed
just
Dave a
spoiled it.
copy of my recording. He said he couldn't use it, but maybe he'll use some pieces of it later.
Wait, what recording?
Well, he did a backup just in case I messed something
Oh.
up. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
wild.
I have more pre-show than Mikey does, but
It's
Sage
wise.
hated Melancholia, Dr. Earl, but Tate loved it.
Okay.
Yeah. Gosh, exercise is pointless. Yes, that's right. That's a gun in here. Dr. Earl, as I alluded to, is off the grid completely. Except
I'm in the
you can find
Discord.
him in the Discord every
Of the
once in a while.
Discord.
I am
Not
at the
that-
Michael Nip on the Twitter, also in the Discord as well. Like we have said many times, we release a podcast episode called the Deucecast Movie Show every Wednesday. This Wednesday, very special episode. All of the Oscar winners in various contests, Dr. Earl, Garrison, and one Jeremy Burgess are the official hosts this week of the Deucecast.
Very
They
excited.
won. Earl won 2 Oscar competitions, apparently.
Wow. I didn't even
I mean,
know. Wow.
Earl
Yeah.
dominated this year. This was a good year
I
for Earl.
swapped one of my votes between the two, and that's why I only got like 17 on Jacobs
Oh man,
instead of 18.
It's a bummer. Like I said, we'll be back next week. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you happen to comment later on, I will do my best to respond to your comment. But in the meantime, please like, subscribe, mash the bell, do all those things that YouTube loves. That'll help us out a lot, and we will see everyone next week.